Hey everybody, I just hit 10,000 subscribers, so as a little bit of a thank you to you, I was going to do another IRL cooking video since when I hit 1,000 subscribers, that seemed to go over pretty well. So today, we are going to be making some Choc chip crunchies.
I found Choc chip crunchies interesting, well, because first off, they're made of chocolate, so that's always a good starting point. And I was also curious about what they actually are. Being gnome food, there's a little bit of mystery surrounding them. And you also only need level 16 cooking to make them, so I thought I'd try my luck. So in the game, you make Choc chip crunchies by adding giando on a crunchy tray. Bake that, add 2 chocolate bars and some gnome spice, bake it again, and then add chocolate dust to finish. So there are a bunch of questions that stem from this. The biggest being, what makes them crunchy? Since the 2 main ingredients are dough and chocolate, I figured it had to be one of those 2. And chocolate isn't a particularly crunchy food, so that leaves the dough. And what is the crunchiest dough I know? I decided to interpret giando as phyllo dough. It's really crunchy, and I could see it applied to actually all of the different gnome foods that use the giando. And yeah, I could have just made some chocolate chip cookies, but I don't think that is really the true spirit of gnome cooking. It's gotta be something a little weirder than that. So, on to the recipe. I used a package of phyllo dough.
Make sure, it's very important, easy to use. Easy to use.
Which is a bit of an exaggeration. I would say phyllo dough is about as easy to use as Monkey Madness is easy to complete. So, a huge pain. And then here are the ingredients to make 6 crunchies. Half a cup of pecans. I have whole ones here just because they're cheaper, but if you have the chopped ones, that's good too since I'm going to be chopping these ones anyway. 2 tablespoons of butter, should be measured out with the little tick lines on the butter wrapper. Half a cup of chocolate chips, the most important part, and save a few extra for topping, along with some cocoa powder for sprinkling on top. 2 tablespoons of sugar, half a teaspoon of cinnamon for our gnome spice, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And that's our ingredient list. First of all, you're going to want to let your phyllo dough thaw, either for 2 hours on the counter or overnight in the fridge. So once the dough has thawed, we can preheat the oven. That's 350 degrees for my Fahrenheit friends, or 180 degrees for my Celsius sidekicks. And while you're waiting for the oven to heat up, you can chop the pecans. And it is pronounced pecan, by the way, not pecan. That just makes me uncomfortable. I decided to throw some pecans in there for extra crunch purposes, and as I established in the first cooking video I did, in order to create something not absolutely disgusting, I have to use the in-game recipe as more of a guideline, not word-for-word accuracy. Mostly because there's no sugar in RuneScape, which sounds pretty miserable and would not translate well to our realm. But anyway, you're going to want to get the pecans down to a texture similar to this, with no pieces larger than, well, I just had my wisdom teeth taken out and all I can think is nothing larger than a tooth. Small bits. Next up is to toast the pecans. I like to put down some wax paper on a cookie sheet and spray that with non-stick cooking spray. It really makes cleanup a lot easier. And sprinkle the chopped pecans onto the tray and try and spread them out the best you can. Hopefully the oven is fully heated at this point and you can put the pecans in. So toast them for 5 minutes. No, 5 minutes. Okay, well. There we go, 5 minutes. And, I never figured out where the smoke was coming from exactly, but the pecan bits were fine. Maybe a little bit more toasted than recommended.
Look how toasted they are.
I blame that phone timer, probably. And while you let them cool for a minute, you can melt your butter in the microwave. Next, we prepare the filling of the crunchies. So I like to think of this as our gnome spice. Start with the toasted pecan bits and put them into the bowl. Oh gosh, okay, I almost lost all the pecans there. Yes, into the bowl. And add your 2 tablespoons of sugar, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So yeah, in my mind here, this is kind of the gnome spice, and maybe it doesn't look like it, but it smells really good, even with the extra toasted pecans. Now add your choc chips and stir it all up. So this is going to be the crunchy filling. So now we actually assemble the crunchy. I actually tried a version where I did bake, fill, and bake again thing like it says in the game, but they actually turned out a lot better when I only baked them once at the end. Not to mention it was quicker. Maybe I'm just doing it wrong because I'm not a gnome? Oh, huh. Maybe I shouldn't be doing a gnome recipe at all. Is this cultural appropriation? I formally apologize to any gnomes watching this video. Grab your crunchy tray, aka cupcake tin, and spray it down with the non-stick cooking spray. Now to assemble our crunchies. If you've never worked with phyllo dough before, well, are you in for a treat? It's really, really thin, like paper, and you build up layers with butter or oil in between to stick it together. It's most famously used in baklava, but if you are a masochist who wants to make life difficult for yourself, you can use it in all kinds of dishes. So what I've been hinting at here is it can be a pain to work with, just a warning. But it is what I needed to get the perfect crunchy, so it had to be done. Next, open up your thawed package of phyllo dough and unroll it. Make sure to cover it, or it will dry out and break. And it's best to use some wax paper with a damp paper towel on top if you're going to have it out for a while. Peel off a layer of dough and then cover up the rest. Cut a slice for yourself and then kind of press it into the tray. If you've got one of these cooking brushes, is that what it's called? Cooking brush? How come I never know the names of any of this stuff? You can use your cooking brush to brush the dough with our melted butter. If not, you can use a spoon or your fingers. Try to get the sides buttered as well as the bottom. Now cut off another piece of dough and repeat, kind of at a different angle. We continue doing this with several pieces of dough to make a little cup. So make sure all the sides get covered, and the dough should be long enough on top to fold over. The number of layers of dough you want really depends on how much you like pastry. If you like croissants and flaky pastry, you probably want to use several layers of phyllo. I don't really like the dough part, and I prefer just to get enough for the crunch. So I stick to about only 2 layers. And as some of you might remember, I really shouldn't be eating gluten stuff at all, but I can handle a little bit now and then. And once you've got a nice pocket dough thingy, like this one, get a scoop of filling and put it in. If the chocolate chips didn't melt, that's fine, they will in the oven. And if they did melt, that's also fine, it's just a little bit sticky. And then start folding the phyllo back over the top and brushing it with butter as you go. I actually really like this part because it feels like some sort of arts and craft project. Do you guys ever use paper mache? Paper mache, but you can eat it. And then when you're finished, it should look something like this. The uncooked crunchy. And now repeat that same process a few more times to create the rest of the crunchies. If the bits of dough crack off or are too long, it's okay to just do the best you can. The finished crunchies look pretty good even if the dough gets a bit mangled. I even started a little scrap pile with all the broken pieces I ended up with. And this is enough filling for 6 crunchies, but this could very easily be increased, since I really didn't even get through half of my phyllo dough. And when you're finished up with the last crunchy, it's time to put them in the oven. Oh, and I lost my oven mitt of safety, guys. Ugh, I don't know where it went. But now all I have is the pot holder of music. So bake them for 15 minutes until they're golden brown. And during that time, if you want some really authentic crunchies, you can chop up some of the chocolate chips and get these little bits here for the top. Just grab a few and give them a few chops. And after 15 minutes, grab the music oven pot of safety. Wait, no, that's, oh, well, whatever. Take out the crunchies. I don't know if you can tell, but they smell really good. I'm just pulling them out of the pan to finish them up. Now sprinkle the chopped chips on top, and yeah, you can see how that really makes them look like the in-game version. If they're still hot, the chocolate bits will melt a little bit and then stick to the top. And then for the final touch, you can sprinkle your chocolate dust, well, / cocoa powder on top. So you can see, I think these actually look a lot like the in-game version. complete with their low polygon aesthetic. And now for the taste test.
Definitely good, definitely crunchy. Choc chip, crunchy.
So thanks so much for watching. I hope you liked this episode of Snugglequest IRL. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments, or if you have any suggestions for more IRL adventures. I've got some more quest guides coming out soon, so stay tuned for that as well. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time.